So in these slides, we will understand that how HRM grew to move into its current shape, that is HR analytics. Let us first understand how the HR as a function has evolved over the period of time. If you remember, then in the early 1930s, human resource management was all about administration, about keeping files of the employees, about doing those mundane tasks which were nothing more than record keeping. And when it moved further and started dealing with practices, not only record keeping but actually talking about the practices related to managing those people. So that was a little better situation than the earlier one in case of administration. And then, rather than just keeping itself confined to talking about the practices and arranging and managing those practices, it moved toward strategy. And when we are talking about strategy, you have to understand that strategy can be made and implemented in the context of the business environment. On one end, it affects the practices, and on the other hand, you can make strategies only when you understand your customers, you understand the investors of business, you understand the government agencies, and as well as the communities which you are serving. This is all what makes the business environment. One cannot talk about making strategies without understanding the context of the business. And now let's talk about what value does HR create. And when we are talking about value creation, there are two things we keep in mind. What does the HR do and what does the HR create? So, what are the different functions of human resource management, and is there any value in those functions? So, if recruitment is a function, then what value is this function creating? Is it giving a well needed manpower to the organization or not? If performance appraisal is a function, then what value is it creating? Is it creating meritocracy in the organization? So that is how the HR can be thought of creating value in the organization. Now let's understand the context in which the HR works. There can be a small acronym which can help you in understanding and remembering all the contextual parameters, and that acronym can be STEPED, STEPED. That will stand for social, technological, economic, political, environmental, and demographic trends. Now these are the different parameters which make up the entire business context in which the HR needs to function. So a human resource management cannot function without its understanding of the social environment in which the business actually works. Obviously, the technological aspects of business and even the technological level or technological expertise available within and outside the organization will affect the functioning of HR. And nowadays we so much talk about digital HR, which was not talked about some years back. Why? Because at that point of time the technology was not had not achieved that level of upgradation which it has achieved now. Similarly, the economic scenario, the political scenario, the environmental scenario, and the demographic trends affect the functioning of the HR. And this, any person who has gone through the HR theory or even the practices very well understands that HR is so enmeshed in the society, because it is all about people, and people are what? They are coming from the society, right? They carry all those trends, all those uh, mindsets and social norms and everything which exists in the society, because organization is at the end a microcosm of the society. It reflects whatever is there in the society. So whatever the value system is there, whatever is the impact of government policies is there, let us say if there is a strong political current in the society, that will definitely get reflected in the people who are working in the organization. And whatever the HR policies are made, they have to deal with that political current. So that is how the context affects the functioning of the HR. Now, when we are talking about knowing these stakeholders, we always understand that the most important stakeholders of HR is employees, because they are considered the internal customers. The services of the HR are actually consumed by the employees. But then, if the HR function wants to occupy that that uh, uh, space on the um, we would say boardroom, where these strategic decisions are taken, then they have to increase their understanding of the stakeholders. Then in that case, employees are not the only stakeholders. They have to understand their customers, the communities which they are serving, and the interests of the investors also. HR has to go beyond their myopic vision of looking only at the employees. Then talking about the developing strategic involvement. So if you as an HR function want to have your say in the policy matters and strategic concerns, then how do you improve your involvement? So on one end, it is all about developing talent, because HR is going to affect the strategy, is going to affect the business, but the means is through people. It cannot go beyond that. It has to work with people and through people to strategically improve the business. So one thing is for sure, that if it can develop the talent in the right way, and then once the talent is developed the right way, you can start building the right organization, because talent is the building block. So if you have the right kind of people with you, definitely you will end up making the right kind of organization. And then comes the leadership. This is the icing on the cake which the HR can work upon. So when we are talking about leadership, there is something called basic leadership. That means the basic functions of a leader which they have to perform. What we call is direction, communication, then distribution of resources and all. And if leadership goes beyond this, then they can develop their organization into a brand, a kind of leadership which is referred to by most of the people around. People look at it as something which can be emulated, which can be followed. And then if it is a long term game, then you are talking about sustainable leadership. Not once or twice a fad comes and goes. HR works continuously to come up with a pipeline of leadership which go ahead with a vision in their mind, and hence that leadership is also sustainable enough, which has strong foundations. Now talking about the HR department, all this has to be done by whom? By the HR department. So when HR department is there, there are a few things. One is the structure, that how is your entire HR department organized. Now there can be two ways. Either you are centralizing your HR functions, which is there at the corporate office, just at one place, and all the HR functions are remote controlled from there, or all the HR policies are formulated at one place, and then rest of the other offices they are just supposed to implement. So all decisions come from that corporate office. Or you may decentralize your HR function, that you understand that each office has its own small HR office, and then they can take HR related decisions at their own level. Or there can be a mixed approach where certain decisions are given to the corporate to take care of, while other decisions can be taken at the branch office or other offices where they need to take a quick decision and it does not require approvals at that point of time. Then once that structure is ready, talk about the practices. So for the entire employee life cycle, what kind of HR practices exist, and are we keeping on with the same practices which were available long time back, or we are improvising on our HR practices with the time, and are we trying to match the HR practices with the strategy of the business and with the need of business, as well as with the kind of talent you have. So if we are investing time and energy in devising the HR practices which serve the organization, then only the HR department is actually making that kind of strategic improvement or involvement which is required. So practices is one set we are ready with. But to do all this, we need competencies of HR. If the HR department in itself is deprived of the necessary skills, of the necessary vision which can take care of these kind of practices, then it won't fructify. So the next step is to improve the competencies of HR. And when we are talking about improving the competencies, we need the data. We need to know what areas of HR will have to be worked upon. Where is there shortcoming which needs to be worked upon? So for that purpose, we need to measure, because only measurement can tell us the difference between the expected competency and the lack thereof. So once we come to know what competencies are required and we have an exact idea what needs to be improved and how much, we are exactly talking about measurement. And here enters our HR analytics. What is it all about? We'll just talk.